Ever since the creation of Israel in 1945 or whatever, Israel has always taken the upper hand in any war with or against the Arab nations. And I don't know any war ever initiated by Israel but the Arab nations. And every war, at the end of every war, Israel has always taken more land to protect itself, to assert itself in that region. So, in course of time, countries like Egypt, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia became reconciled with the Jewish state, with Israel. And but why are the why is the case of the Palestinians different? Why? It is different because rather than going along with the likes of Lebanon, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, some terrorist-minded persons allied with Iran that revels in terrorist activities. But why fight a war that you know you cannot win? Jesus of Nazareth is quoted as saying that before a king goes to war with another king, the king must assess itself and see that it is a war he will win. Otherwise, he will seek friendship. So now, what happened on October 7, 2023? Even if you find justification for it, will Israel find justification for it? Why don't you consider the fact that Israel is always having the upper hand and still has the wherewithal for upper hand? So why fight a war in which you will lose? So, but where I'm going is that if world leaders united in condemning what Hamas did on October 7 and called Hamas to order with one voice, or Hamas and Iran, that is the backbone of what Hamas and the other terrorist organizations are doing, to order, Gaza will not become rubble, will not be demolished to the extent it has become demolished, and it is still being demolished. All because the whole world, generally speaking only, the whole world prefer to condemn Israel rather than to caution Hamas and call Hamas to order so that peace will reign. Let's go to South Africa. South Africa, the black aborigines of South Africa, I don't know what better name to call them, the black aborigines of South Africa suffered a similar fate with that of the Palestinians in the hands of the white supremacist apartheid rulers of South Africa. But they adopted protest. Even with protest, they suffered some hardship in the hands of brutality. They suffered some brutalities in the hands of the apartheid regime. But should they have adopted the type of terrorism adopted by Hamas and the others? South Africa story will not be different. Of absolutely, absolutely. So, and anything nearing or in the similarity anything in similarity to terrorism met radical immediate response from the white supremacist apartheid regime. So you can think of the death, the death of the likes of Steve Biko for accused of terrorist activities. So the way the world is handling the issue of October 7 led to the massive destruction of Gaza. Why not call Hamas and the other terrorist organization to order? Why not call Iran to order? Because to do that would have been to save lives, to save property, and go gradually like the South African case, to save life and property. But that was not done. All over the world, in America, in Britain, and other places, demonstrations against Israel. So is that wisdom? That's what I'm questioning. Is that wisdom? Is that fairness? Is that fairness? And that lack of fairness to Israel led to the destructions that are going on. Because Hamas did what it did without any response, without any sense of regret or what do you call it? Without any remorse or regret, let alone apology, but insistence that Israel will be driven from land to sea, boasting like that. So, what do you expect? What do you expect? So, the issue of wisdom, issue of apply wisdom, if only to apply wisdom and save the day. But that was not done. That's my concern here. Forget about who is right or wrong, but to save the situation, to apply wisdom, to console Israel. Sometimes you console somebody even unjustly, but to save a situation. None of that. None of that. Everybody just demonstrates. And after you demonstrate against Israel, you are not able to arrest the destruction of Gaza. Because Israel is saying this Hamas, that is a terrorist organization that want to eradicate Israel, must be eradicated. What do you say to that? What do you say to that? And Iran is there supplying the weapons and the resources to perpetrate terrorism against Israel. Look at what happened in Lebanon with Hezbollah. Hezbollah was boasting and provoking Israel until Israel shows power. And to avoid the situation of Gaza, Hezbollah was asked to mellow by Lebanese people. But even when Palestinians in Gaza protest against Hamas, they don't get the response, the support of the world to say, we stop provoking Israel. We want to regain our life. Yes, the Gazan people have protested against Hamas severally, but the world preferred this condemnation of Israel. And what are you getting from the condemnation of Israel? That's my question now. What are you getting from it? What are you getting from it? So you have taken a wrong approach to Israel. Eh? The Yoruba say, call the crazy man the husband of the woman to save the situation. Call the crazy man the husband of the woman to console him and save the situation. So that type of wisdom was not applied. Only condemnation is perpetrating genocide, is doing this, is doing that. You leave Hamas, you leave Iran, nothing to tell them. You don't call them to caution, but to be waiting for genocide. And Yemen is going the way of Gaza, because the Houthis terrorist organization has been provoking Israel like Hamas did, like Hezbollah did, but Hezbollah, I don't know who called Hezbollah to caution, because Lebanon was going the way of Gaza too. And now Yemen is going the way of Gaza. You see it? Call your terrorist organization to order. And let us take the line of South Africa. Protest. And eventually peace came. Here in Nigeria, in Yoruba land, between Ife and between Ile-Ife and Modakeke people, it was like Palestinian-Israel crisis. And they really went to a number of wars, but eventually wisdom prevailed. And now Ife and Modakeke are living in peace, just like the best example is that of South Africa, because this is a country ruled by apartheid perpetrators, predators, and so on. So now, with the case of Israel, why are you protesting while Israel is insisting on her own security from a terrorist organization that is boasting of exterminating it after perpetrating October 7, the October 7 terrorist activities that generated angst from many quarters. And of course, some Muslim people were celebrating it. That's the irony of it. So now let them be celebrating what is happening to Gaza. This is what I'm saying. So let us be fair-minded. You know, if the world were fair to Israel, Gaza will not degenerate to this extent. But where is fairness? Even in the war between Ukraine and Russia, where is fairness? What do you call them? European Union, NATO, including America, at least under Joe Biden, encouraged Ukraine to go and be fighting, to go and be counter-attacking Russia. At the end of the day, you said Ukraine must not use the long-range missile that you supplied to attack deep, to attack Russia. So Russia was bringing the war home to Ukraine. And now you have a worse situation than that, where Donald Trump is now even siding with Russia against Ukraine, voting in favor of Putin. So, because this is somebody who is a dictator like Putin, and they want to annex Canada and other places like Putin want to annex Ukraine. What are we doing? So this, I'm just concerned. My concern is primarily for Gaza, because Gaza is the weeping child in this case. But you should have left the weeping child and find a way of appeasing Israel, if only to save Gaza. But you didn't do that. The UN didn't do that. The other world leaders in their own different capacity didn't do that. Even the Arab rulers that I expect will have come out strongly against Hamas to caution Hamas, even if only to save Gaza. But it was not done. Where is our sense of where is our human wisdom to handle situation, to make sure to save the day? Where was that wisdom? Eh? Ah, it's a serious issue, and I hope that I've made my point anyway.